Well.
So active.
Yeah. Have a seat right there. Well, I'm back once again. Tonight's show, we're going to talk about separate and not equal. Separate and not equal. We're talking about Freemasonry from a different point of view, a different perspective. We're looking at it from the point of view of what we call brotherly love, relief, and truth, but we're going to split that up. And we're going to really get into Freemasonry and the concept of what it is versus what it is not, because I think a lot of us have an illusion about Freemasonry, and it's just about to get down tonight. So hold on just a second. I'm gonna just close this door right here. There you go. I'm back at you. So welcome aboard, everybody who's coming on. We're going to talk about Freemasonry being separate and not equal. Separate and not equal. So later on, I'm looking for brother Christopher Jackson is going to be joining us tonight. If all works out well for him, I'm going to give him a little shout out here real quick. And anybody else who want to jump on tonight, you're certainly welcome to call into the show, because Freemasonry is separate and it is not equal. Now, you can say whatever you want to say, but hear me clearly. Freemasonry is separate and it is not equal. And I'm talking about in the United States, okay? I'm not talking about overseas or nothing like that. I'm talking about what's happening right here in this country as far as Freemasonry is concerned. You can say whatever you want to say, but Freemasonry is separate and is not equal. And I'm going to point that out to you in such a way till you have to see it. You cannot no longer sit idly by and say, that's not true. It is definitely true. Freemasonry amongst men who are Masons is separate and it is not equal. Trust me on that. It reminds me of growing up in Mississippi, dealing with segregation in schools. They say, okay, you got your school, we got our school. Yeah, the schools are separate, but they were nowhere equals because of the textbooks, because of the learning atmosphere. I'm not saying you can't be better than. I never said that. I'm saying it's separate and it is not equal. Now, you may be wondering, well, why do you say that? I say it because it's true. Okay, now how many of your lodges, your black Masonic lodges across the board, how many of you take your money and really invest it in stocks and bonds? I can guarantee you 99.999, none of them do. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about finances. I'm talking about how you deal with your money as a black lodge versus how white Masonic jurisdictions deal with theirs. It's totally different. I'm talking about, instead of selling chicken dinners and barbecue dinners and having your banquets to raise your money, you should be investing in stocks and bonds to raise your money. That's the difference. You are separate and you're not equal. You're not even on the same playing field as some of these white jurisdictions, as most of them. As 99.999, you're not even on the same playing field. Now, you may feel comfortable because you can go and visit their lodge. You can sit in their lodge. You can have a conversation with them in their lodge. You may feel equal in that way. But you're not even equal in that way, because when you go back to your lodge meeting, I guarantee you your Masonic hall is nothing like theirs. I guarantee you that. Yeah, you separate. And that's including me. I'm not taking myself out the equation now. Listen to me clearly. I can't do that. I can't do that. So don't go and say, well, what do you mean, Brother Hawkins, Brother Tony? What are you talking about, separate but not equal? Brother, sisters, who's ever listening right now, you must understand Freemasonry in America is separate and it is not equal. Now, you can bet a dime on that. Now, if you want to call into the shows tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so, and we can have that conversation. But if you know anything about Freemasonry in these United States, you best believe it's separate and it's not equal. No, it's not. And let me tell you why it's not equal. Everything they do, most of the jurisdictions that are African American try and do the same thing. Why is that? Just because they do it, don't make it right. It doesn't. So why do we try to copy a system that did not want us in the first place? I just need you to think just a little bit for me, because some of you are forgetting some things, okay? Some of you get so hyped on the fact of this recognition thing that is going by state by state. Let me say this here so you don't have no misunderstanding. When Grand Lodges of State recognizes another jurisdiction, I applaud that. Hear me clearly. I applaud that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm good with that. I'm glad it's happening. It's about time that it does. However, I, as a Black Mason and a Black man, can't forget how they treated all of us at one particular time. And then for a certain majority of us, or a certain minority of us, or just a certain group of us to say, well, I'm over here now. Look at me now. You can't come over here now. They don't like you here now, but they like me now. It's crazy. You don't realize the game that is being played. I say this tonight, and the reason this show is called Separate and Not Equal is because I have a brother right now who's traveling overseas. And he's enjoying himself. He's over there visiting some of the brothers from Scotland, and he's having a ball. No, he's not going to Title Lodge meetings, blah, blah, blah. No, he's over. They've actually invited him over to come and fellowship, have a great time, hang out, enjoy the brotherhood, because a lot of us tend to think that Masonry is in your lodge. You can't come to my lodge meeting. That's not where Masonry is at. That's where your school of instructions are at. That's where your learning goes into play. That's not where Masons actually take place. That's not where actually Masons take place at. See, Masonry itself takes place outside of your building with those four walls. That's where Masonry takes place at. If you don't believe me, try it. How big is your, well, how wide is your lodge? How high is your lodge? If you tell me your lodge is only, 3,000 square foot, whatever, well, you're in a small lodge. You're not part of the universal brotherhood of Freemasonry. If you tell me you have a building, you're going to call that your lodge, because you truly miss the essence of what Freemasonry is all about. So let's look at this thing. Because most of our black Masonic lodges tend to deal in small finances, whereas the brothers of the white Masonic lodges, their finances is you don't even want to know. See, they deal in stocks and bonds. They deal in building foundations. Their structure is totally different. Their mindset is totally different. See, you're thinking of chicken dinners and banquets and things. They're thinking of foundation. They're thinking of something solid. They're thinking of where when they pass on, they don't have to worry about, is this building going to be still here? They don't have to worry about that. It's just the mindset. And my thing is tonight, brothers, is you have to change your mindset. Some of you like staying where you at, but you're going to have to change your mindset if you're going to ever catch up. Even if you're not a Mason, even if you're not an Eastern Star, if you are African American living in this country, if you ever plan to catch up, if you ever plan to do something, you're going to have to change your mindset. It's just that simple. Now, you can sit here and call me this, call me that, whatever, but you're going to have to change your mindset if you want something out of this life in these United States, because we are living in a separate country and it's not equal. We're living in a system that is governed differently. And you can, I just don't care what you say. I see it every day of my life. And I'm quite sure if you are African American, a sister or a brother, you see it too. You see it too. And there's nothing wrong with somebody finding favor, somebody doing something good and kind towards you. But I'm looking at it from the totality of a racial dialogue, African Americans, white, Hispanics, Filipinos, Asians. I'm looking at it from that whole different point of view. But right now I'm taking it from an American point of view of separate and not equal. Because right now it seems to me, from the atmosphere that is around us right now, it reminds me of my growth when I was coming up in Mississippi. And you're looking at the police brutality. You're looking at bombings, and you're looking at shootings in churches. You're looking at our sisters being beaten, brothers they still hanging people in Mississippi. Yeah, they still doing it. You can't look. Just a couple of weeks ago, somebody was hung in Mississippi. They still finding people dead, hanging in jails in Mississippi. And you run around talking about something. I want to be recognized, and I want to sit in this lodge, and you can't visit me. And that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And I say it that way because we're caught up in this slave mentality that we can't crack the code. The code is not even difficult to crack. It's not. But we're so hell-bent on holding each other down when a brother, like Brother Laurie right now, is visiting over in Scotland. And he's sending back pictures talking about the fellowship, how good it is, blah, 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 blah. And there are brothers right now who are dogging him out because he's over there visiting. Oh, now, you over there, you want the white man to recognize you now, huh? You over there. It's not even about that. It's not. It's truly not about that. I would rather be recognized and loved by my own than anybody else. That's me. But however, when somebody else shows me more respect than my own, it's a wrap. Period. It's a wrap. To get more respect from somebody else who don't look like you, from somebody else who don't talk like you, to get their respect in their opening their doors to their homes and telling you how much they appreciate the mere fact that you came to visit them says a lot. This is why I always say, I go where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. I go where I'm respected. If you go to a place they don't respect you, but they tolerate you, that's the wrong Masonic Lodge to be part of. We talk about brotherly love, relief, and truth. You can talk all that bull stuff all you want to. When you know you're not living it, nor are you thinking it, nor are you doing anything with it. Oh, I got knowledge. What knowledge you have? If you're not lifting up the next man with the so-called knowledge you may have, you have no knowledge. If you're not making him see, if you're not raising his intellect, if you're not whispering good counsel in that brother's ear, holding his words faithful to your breast, you ain't doing a damn thing. Yeah, I'm kind of ticked off, just a little bit. And I'm that way only because of what I see us do to each other. When we should be actually respecting and loving and sharing with each other. Showing some charity toward each other. It ain't about the visitation of lodges. It's not even that, because most of you can't visit my lodge. Just like you tell me I can't visit yours. The ideal is outside of that, then what? Because we live in the same damn community. We do. Most of us live within a 10 or 20 mile radius of the very lodge you go to. Most of us. And that's just the fact of the matter. So if you want to call in tonight, go right ahead. 619-985-1184 is the call-in number. I certainly like to have you call in tonight. And we're going to get down on this. Because Freemasonry is a beautiful system. It is. But some of us has made it look so, it's not even good. You know. So we definitely got some work to do. We have some work to do. Anytime you choose, no, I'm going to change that. Anytime you can set up and call me a liar and don't know me, haven't talked to me, but you go by third-hand information, you're a sorry individual. And you have no respect for yourself. Simple as that. And that's the truth. Most brothers don't want to have an honest conversation because they know it's true. You know, most brothers want to hit me up on the side and talk to me. And then tell me, you know what, bro, you know you're right. And that's cool. But some of you who do that, I don't know. Why do you do it? You know, if you're going to really show some legitimacy about the character that you have, you know, you can do better. You know, so first of all, I just want to say greetings to everybody. You know, I hope all is well. Your family is doing well. I hope that, you know, your homes are safe wherever you may be at. But I'm telling you tonight, Freemasonry here in the United States is separate and is not equal. And I say that because I see it amongst us as black men, and I see it amongst the white Masons. And that's a fact. I'm not talking about individual. I'm not talking about the individual. I'm talking about jurisdictional. Because there are some individuals who are white, and I know they'll reach out and help. I know that as a fact. Okay? There's no doubt about it. I know individuals who are international, modern, free, Prince Hall, whatever, and I know they get along well. But I'm looking at it from a jurisdictional point of view. Why do we do the things we do on a jurisdictional point of view? And then we don't educate our brothers on that. No, we don't. We do not educate our brothers on it as we should. Hold on just a second. That's not what I want. There you go. You know, we do not educate our brothers on that. Nor do we do a lot of education with our sisters. We don't. So I just want to welcome everybody for coming on tonight, and definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know, this is a different show than any other show on the net when it comes to Freemasonry, because you can call in live. You don't have to be an Eastern Star. You don't have to be a Mason to call into the show, ask questions, and then we'll answer the question. We will. But tonight we're talking about being separate and not equal. And as I said before, it reminds me of growing up in Mississippi. Yeah, you got your school across the tracks. I got mine. Your textbooks are just maybe 5 or 6 years behind. That's all that is. You know, yeah, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get where I'm at, because I got a 416 year or 400 year already head start on you. As a matter of fact, I use you to get where I'm at now because my kids are benefiting from it. That's just the facts. I'm not talking about somebody wrote down or any. I'm talking, these are facts, okay? Now, we all know how this thing goes. We all know how it goes when we're talking about separate and not equal. We could talk all day about, hey, you know, this brother here, you know, he really likes me and da-da-da. No. No. I'm talking about how lodges and grand lodges and jurisdictions deal financially with memberships, and why some of the lodges fails or black jurisdictions fail across the board. You know, it's their structure. The structure is similar, but the money factor, we don't deal with our money well. Brother Terrell, what's up, bro?
Not much, man. I was just watching the show, and what do you want to discuss about how the black lodges and white lodges operate?
Well, what I'm saying is it's separate but equal. What I'm looking at is this, from a wide range of things. And when I say that, and how white Masons do their money versus black Masons do their money, and how one tends to invest in stocks and bonds and other things, and how one uses chicken dinners and barbecues, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me, I'm not criticizing that, because I do it on this end. We do it here. The fact is what do you do with your money? Do you invest it? Do you take it? Does it grow? Or do you just sit it in the bank and say, well, you know, we're going to get a Worshipful Master a little traveling money. We're going to get a Senior Deacon a little traveling money. We're going to send some up to Grand Lodge, and Grand Master can travel a little bit. Or do you take that money and you flip it and invest it in stocks and bonds, and where it's going to grow, where you don't have to put the burden of your Grand Lodge finances on just your membership and dues money?
Well, I will say this. Me coming from Grand Lodge, Texas, I personally know for a fact how our lodge operated, Blue Lodge especially. I can say every stated meeting we had maybe 20, 25 people, the ones who normally come, extra brothers in the area. But we have 89 members on roll in my Blue Lodge. We have we have a pretty large sum, more than $10,000 just in my Blue Lodge alone in our savings account.
Okay.
I can say because I'm not trying to get too much into the business of lodge. I'm not trying to speak that
I
out.
understand
Okay.
that. You don't have to go no further than that if you don't want to, because I heard what you said. The ideal is how do we transfer that knowledge, that thought of thinking over to black grand lodges and jurisdictions? How do you transfer that thought?
Well, with me personally, and with me coming from a Grand Lodge state, switching over to me when you switch over to PHA, I want to take that mindset, that business side of what I learned from Grand Lodge state and apply it to PHA. So, and hopefully you can reach any other Grand Lodge or any other Mason out there or any person in general to invest their money.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have a core of people, or you just have to work towards a goal. You have to think long term, and I can say that's what my Blue Lodge did. That's why my Blue Lodge they were erected in 1940s and been standing strong since.
Well, see, that's because when they did that, and I'm going to say that when it was established, it was the investment, the mindset was different. And I would say this was because I believe that most black grand lodges at that time was thinking more of a survival mood of the now moment instead of long-term modes or mood. So that's what I'm looking at. And I would say that most, if not all, of your grand lodges of state, their buildings that I know I've personally visited and I've seen and gone in is totally different than most of our black masonry buildings. And it's not to say that, it is clearly to say that they're better buildings, period. And I'm not saying we don't have any good buildings, because I know for a fact right here in California there are quite a few black grand lodges that have nice buildings. They do. But what I'm talking about is the financial structure. I'm talking about when you walk into the building, the whole thing. Why do we throw away our monies to the swine? Why do we do that? You can just answer that right there.
Well, you said throw away our money to the swine. I look at it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Most, like you said, most black lodges, they had to take a step back. They just started probably investing maybe after the 60s or 70s after they, because Black Masons, so overall, historically, they had to, they were going to lodge, especially in the South. That's just a fact. We're going to call it for what it is. That's just a historical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're in today's society where we can invest more and everything like that, now I can't say it's some black lodges out here who are trying to get an investment, who are investing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, but not majority. But we have to, as a community, especially as black and brown people, we have to be able to, those ones who are succeeding, those successful black lodges can't forget and try to teach other lodges how to do it. Follow their method to get close to their method so they can thrive and succeed.
But see, that's the thing, because I know here in California, and what we try to do here in John G. Jones is like we was even talking in regards to brothers making that one-time payment, and we're going to take that and we're going to invest that and do such things. That's something that we're looking at now. But the thing is why couldn't that happen a long time ago? Is it the fact that we still have trust issues amongst ourselves as black men and who's handling the money? And I think that plays a big dividend in it. I really think that plays a part in who we are as a people, because for a long time we've been told not to trust each other, and it still is passed down from family to family, whatever. It's passed down and is embedded, damn near gened in us in a sense. That we don't trust each other, and I think it comes from that type of factor too.
And I can agree with you on that. But I look at it like this: you got to have some form of trust. Like I said, me coming from my Blue Lodge under Grand Lodge of Texas, I can say any money I put towards the lodge, whether it was for food, when we had our stated meetings for dinner, whether it was just, hey, let me just help out, put it towards the building fund, I knew where my money went. And the first thing my worshipful master said before I even joined the lodge, and before I became a Mason, anytime you put your money into the lodge, you can always have that right to come ask and see. you can't see everything as a treasurer. You don't need to know everything, but you can see where your money was invested. You know,
Right.
you can always ask about.
So in
certain
other words, we should be more clear about where the money is going. We should be more open about where the money is going. And not only that, and I think I would give this a credit to us as Black Masons. We know the works. Don't get it twisted. I would say we know the works. But on top of knowing the works, we should understand the finances that comes along with knowing the works.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong. My worshipful master told me there's nothing wrong with you trying to see what you put your money toward. If I know my roof has a hole in it, my roof is fixed, I come back, from work, or I missed a few meetings, I come back and I see that roof fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know my money went towards the roof, because guess what? The hole in the roof is gone.
Mm-hmm.
If I see new carpet and I see the lodge, my building lodge looking more modern, the more spruced up, some of the things that were broken, worn down, and I see new equipment happening, I can say, hey, my money's going towards that. People need to see where their money is going to.
Absolutely. And I would say that's the same mentality that we took on about 8 years ago. We had to change. You have to change the way you think and do business when brothers are coming into the craft. You have to be able to break it down and let them know. Sisters also, about how their money is being used, because it shouldn't take money to become a Mason. It really shouldn't. But we know that when you have buildings and you have activities, it's going to take some change to make some things happen. But what I'm looking at is that, and all of that, like I said earlier, reminds me of growing up in Mississippi, to where you have separate and it's not equal, and we who are Masons here in the United States, we are separate and we are not equal. It's just that plain and simple. Yeah, we talk about we meet on a level. Oh yeah, we meet on a level. We, everybody, if you could be a CEO in a company and you come into this lodge, everybody's on the same level. Who you fooling?
Okay, and yes, and I'll say this. From a historical standpoint, yes, the African American race, we start behind. We were slaves, and we had Jim Crow laws. In between there, we had the 12 years where in the South you could be a politician, things like that, and that got taken away after 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
In between slavery and Jim Crow, during the Reconstruction era.
Okay.
And after that, after the 60s, we had the 70s, and then that's when we pretty much started to get on track somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Also, the system is broken and it's not perfect. Trust me, especially with the prison reform laws and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers and the stats show that we get locked up more than any other race.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, personally, I'm one of those people. Don't dwell on it. We don't have to forget, but don't dwell on it too long. Try to do what we can to make ourselves better.
Okay, so check this out. I think that's Nichols. Man, I need some glasses or something. Nichols Stevenson. He just posted. He said, "We choose not to be equal. The true principle of Masonry transcends your affiliation and focus on the individual." I'm going to agree to disagree. And the reason I say that is because of the way the system is set up. The totality of the system, not just the system of Freemasonry, but the system here in the United States. If we was truly equal and we held ourselves to that equal point of view, then the system would see us as equals. But the system doesn't see us as equal. It does not.
It doesn't, but also too, I'm going to play advocate here, because I tell my sons that too. You got to look at not only somebody else's side, but there's two sides to everything. Technically,
everything right there.
There's your side, the other person's side, and then somewhere in between there's the truth. I look at it like this. I agree with what you're saying, but I also want you to try to agree to this.
Go for it.
That's also the way we present ourselves as a race, as a culture, as a group, as a person, as an individual.
Mm-hmm. No, I can totally agree with that. I can totally 100% agree with that. I have no problems about that. But some of my good friends who are police officers, oh my God. I told one of them, I said, you You, brother, who is dressed in blue, you have a double-edged sword. You know, the line you walk a real tight line because you can't do what that white cop does. And then when you pull over somebody black, they hate you or disrespect you or don't like you because you pulled them over. And they looking at you to cut them a break, even though they may have violated the law. So they have it's rough being a black police officer a lot of times. Now, I'm just saying from what I know personally, it is, you know. So, and this is some of the things that they're faced with. But when when I look at the system, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. But when I look at the system itself, we have to, as one brother said, I can agree with him to a certain point of view. We do have to hold ourselves accountable. We do have to police ourselves. But this knowledge that we claim we have as Masons should be able to transcend who we are, period. And I say that because it is not complicated. If I carry myself like somebody, I act like somebody, I take care of the business at hand, I am somebody. But if I want to roll and hang out with dogs, I'm damn sure gonna kiss some of them fleas. You can talk back to me.
That's true. No, that is true. Hey, there's the saying, hey, you are whose company you keep.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, you know, and it's funny you say that. I was talking to a young brother the other day, and I told him, I said, see, I know who you are as an individual. I know you. I know what you're trying to do with your life. But if you and I walk down the street together, I have a suit on as a black man, and you sagging as a black man, but I know you're a good guy. I know that. You're gonna look at you're gonna be looked at a little differently, even by your own people.
Yeah.
So the ideal is
Yeah,
absolutely. So the ideal is this system. We need to take control of the system. Black Masons, Eastern Stars. And when I say take control of it, it is clearly to say, if I got this knowledge, this light, this whatever that I claim I have, then I should be able to pass it on to the next person so they can see something different. Because I've heard brothers tell me all the time, Mason saved my life, man. Mason saved my life. I've heard it.
Okay, and guess what? And if masonry has saved your life or made your life better, knowledgeable, you receive that light or keep getting that light, getting that enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy 100%. But I'm also a proponent. Once you receive that light or that knowledge, impart it into somebody else so they can get that same knowledge or interpret it a different way, and they can keep passing it on. Never forget, once you get something and learn it, or you're skilled at something, don't be scared. And I feel like this as a young black man in America. Once we get something for our own, we're scared to give to somebody else because we wind up losing it, or they're gonna outshine us. We get that competitive nature about us.
Well, we're gonna always be competitive, and that's not a bad thing. But what I would
not.
But I agree with you to a certain point. But what I would want to see is to maintain the competitive nature. But you must realize, as I've said before, you're gonna leave this rock, this planet, this rock right here. You're gonna transcend this rock. Now, the knowledge that you have, or proclaim that you have, what have you done with it? Have you used it to uplift the next man? Have you used it to build up the next sister? Or did you just take it and hoard it like a prostitute? What did you do with it?
Exactly. And that's what I want to get at. I'm all about competitiveness, trying to better yourself and, have that competitive edge, but don't be too competitive to the point where you hoard all that knowledge, all that wisdom, and you don't impart it into no one else. Because you can leave a lasting mark on somebody. Even if it's one, you at least made a mark.
And that's the thing. So in talking about separate and not equal, I know most brothers feel that if they're able to visit a white lodge, they feel that they're equal. And I'm going to disagree with that. I'm really going to disagree with it. Now, I know you and I have had our conversation. You may be able to shed some light on that. help me to see it from another point of view. But I just see it that way because of how we treat each other. And I say that, hold on just a second. And I say that because of what's happening. Hold on just a second, okay?
Okay.
Hello, who am I speaking with?
Hey, Brother Muhammad, this is Brother Steve.
Hey, how you doing? You on the show tonight. You want me to add you to it?
Oh, definitely.
Hold on just a second. There you go. You've been added. Talk to me.
Okay. How you doing, brothers? Let me first introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Stevens, out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm the worship master of Carl Stevens Lodge number 2 under the most worshipful Lazarus Grand Lodge, where the Grand Master of Damon Down 33rd degree is Grand Master.
No, he's doing the video.
Loving the show, bro. Loving the show. Definitely with just what you were just talking about as far as brothers and being members of Grand Lodge of State.
Mm-hmm.
The notion of separate but equal. I mean, we have to look as Americans, and every time I come on, I always give a historical perspective.
Just hit me
but as Americans, we really have to look at it from a unique point of view because we are Americans, and our history is very unique in itself. You can tell the difference because we're sitting here talking about Grand Lodge State versus other affiliations as if they're any different. Which they
Brother Jackson, I'm adding you to the show.
being separated, but it's self-inflicted as well. As men of color, it's not so much self-inflicted as it is forced upon. But what we do to ourselves is self-inflicted. I think that's the biggest thing is about the notion of separate but equal. It transcends just a system base and it goes into a culture.
Okay, well, you know what? I got Brother Jackson on the phone. Brother Jackson.
Sir?
Holler at me.
Well, I know when you called earlier, I'm on the highway. I'm just coming from one of my games. The separate but equal. One of the things that I've noticed that many people talk about and reference the difference between, I guess as they call it, black and white masonry, whatever. There isn't any difference. I've said before, there's a lot of different churches, a lot of different types of churches. There are a lot of different types of jurisdictions, as we call them. But it's only one Christ, only one Jesus, and it's only one Amun Rest.
Okay.
Masonry is only different to the people who practice it. I agree. The order of business is the same. Y'all got secrets, and it's a secret. No, it's not a secret because brother, when you see him, especially if he's wearing something, or who you would assume to be, someone who passed an initiation when you see him. You really don't know a brother until he's met with some strict trial and do examination.
Okay.
See, there's a difference in that. Most of us start calling people brother because he passed an initiation. That doesn't make you a brother. So, when people treat you differently, it's almost into classism. And it really is into classism. Well, that's my Masonic brother right there. Oh, well, that's my Christian brother there. Well, that's my Muslim brother there. Well, who is that over there who needs some type of help or needs some assistance? Because that's really what the core of what we do is. Helping the poor and the downtrodden, the less fortunate. We're not looking for any type of reputation or fame. Man never screens himself for reputation or fame. I used to have that on the back of my coat. A master mason never screens himself. Screen, S-C-R-E-E-N-S. He never screens himself for reputation or fame. So, how did we get into all of the needing to be seen? Everyone needs to know what we're doing. that's what starts to put us in separate categories.
Mm-hmm.
Versus doing things because it's in your heart. You're not doing it because, well, the TV's coming. Let's let everybody know we're out here. Right, right.
Okay.
That's not how we get out. We start separating. I mean, honestly, everything starts to get separated. Everything in life gets separated. Look at the clothes we wear. We like to be separate and different from everyone else. But in the order, you put on a black suit.
Hey, Brother Jackson. Now,
Right.
time out, Brother Jackson. When you say they put on a black suit, now, some lodges have just totally just said, I'm not wearing a suit no more.
Okay. Now, even in that, who are we? Who are we to change? See, that's the problem with the black man. We love to innovate and do things differently than what it is, so we can say we were the first to do that. Well, I was the first lodge to wear a brown suit out here in California. Mm-hmm. Just because you want to have some type of reputation. You're innovative. Well, we were the first one to feed the homeless down at the mall. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Everyone loves to do that. Look at how things are done think about this, because I don't even think we spoke on that before. Remember when Nipsey was killed?
Right.
Everyone kept saying, well, he bought up the neighborhood. He was doing this, that, in the neighborhood. No, he didn't. Nipsey bought up some property in the neighborhood that he didn't own. When you own the land you own, that's yours. But when you don't have, if you don't know what you're doing, you are always going to be succumb to the hands and the powers that be. Correct. We will never be separate until we start doing it for self. It's too many of us who have gotten to the point where we've been naturalized, and we feel like if we don't get our ice from the white man, it ain't gonna be cold enough.
Well, see, that's what that goes back to saying, like a brother said earlier. First of all, we know that masonry is in your heart. All right, it's in your heart. But secondly, when you see it that way, when you say, well, his water is colder than his water, that is something that is totally just it is if we can't get away from it. It's like we're stuck in this matrix to where when someone gets out, we want to look at them like they bad or something. And then if they try to reach down and help us up, we want to cut their hand off. This is why for some folks who get out, per se, they don't want to come back.
Well, as I often say, see, the story and the issues change, but the solutions and the problems that start the stories don't. We have this drama and conversation right now about the order. It always stems from strict trial and due examination, and we don't get that in the beginning when they're candidates. We only do that when we meet somebody. You don't make that candidate wait with patience. You're trying to get your numbers up. You don't know what he's able to deal with, what he's able to understand, how he's able to grasp the order in the method that you need him to get it in, because you don't know if you have someone who's able to teach. You don't know if you have someone who's able to be that type of chivalrous individual.
Right.
When you see a Mason, there was a time when you knew a Mason just by how he walked down the street, because it was just a certain way that he carried himself.
Correct.
How he walked, how he came down the stairs. How he presented himself. Look at the core of what we are about.
I think that was what Stevens was trying to say earlier, is that this, and I think Brother Terrell touched upon this too, that is something that is missing in a sense.
Definitely. Here's one of the things that happens that we really don't.
Hey, somebody turn your volume down in the background. Somebody got their volume up a little high.
I got you. Honestly, there really is a certain look that a Mason has. There's a look that he has. When you see him, it's like, oh, I know who he is.
Right. So
I know who he is.
So,
go ahead.
No, I have another brother just called in. Introduce yourself there, bro.
Hey, yes, sir. My name is Manuel.
All right, what you want to add to the show?
I just want to speak on what you was talking about finance. And, I'm coming this from a perspective of just a regular person. I'm not a Mason, but when it comes to dealing with finances, the reason why the fraternity doesn't invest in different things is because they don't know how. That's just a kind of a generational thing, especially among Black people, but really among less fortunate people as well, is because we don't know how to invest our money. We don't know the true purpose of money. The average person thinks money is to obtain things, a car, house, et cetera, but when you start to deal with finances and start to understand finances and what money is really used for by people that have an abundance of money, money is used to make more money. It's not used to buy a car. It's not used to buy a house. You use your money to make more money. And once you have an abundance of money because you have different places that your money is flowing in from, then that's when you start accumulating the houses and the cars and the materialistic things that you value. You see, as Black people, we tend to peacock. I think that's what the brother was talking about, the bad competition. I'm kind of young guy. I'm only 29 years old, and I remember it started off with 18-inch rims, 20-inch rims, and went up to 30-inch rims. Who in the damn rims?
There you go.
They making money off y'all fools because you want to be better than the next person. So if we don't have healthy competition in the Black community, I feel like who has the most profitable business? Who owns the most houses? Who owns an apartment complex? If we're gonna start competing, let's start competing in something big.
I heard that.
I read a book that it really changed the way I looked at money, and it was called it's The Richest Man in Babylon is one book, and Rich Dad Poor Dad is another. It really shows the different mindsets between a person that lives a life of abundance and a person, that's basically living paycheck to paycheck. You got people making $250,000 a year, but they still live in paycheck to paycheck like a person that works at Walmart because they don't understand what the hell they're doing with their money.
That's true, but hold on just a second. Hey, Brother Jackson.
Let me touch on that if I can.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Here's something that happens. I want y'all to think about something. When you look at these basketball games, and you look at all of the people who are sitting on the sidelines, I spoke on this the other day. When you see E40 on the sideline because he got on his Golden State uniform and he got all his jewelry on. When you see Floyd on the sideline, he got his jewelry on. Jay-Z, Beyonce, they have a star section. But actually, the whole front line, he's Jack Nicholson, et cetera, et cetera. But see, are you aware that a lot of those people on those front lines are multi-millionaires, billionaires that sit at these games, these seats and all of these certain seats in certain areas? When you have money, I told somebody this the other day, and I say this all the time.
You get a lot of stuff free when you have money.
Yeah. See, when you're talking about you have money, stop telling people that you got a business if you're an employee. You don't have a business when you're an employee. You hustle. Right. See, when you got a business, your name is on the front of the checks, never put on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a man, I was waiting on my client, and I spoke on this before. He had 5 Ferraris in his garage, in the parking garage in the building. And I called out all the names of the Ferraris because I knew my cars. And we were talking, and he said, do you know the reason why? He said there are only 2 types of people that can buy a Ferrari from Ferrari. He said those that are on the list and previous owners.
You can't just walk on the lot and get one because the value of the Ferrari appreciates. It does not depreciate. And it's one of the very few cars that happens to. He said, if I lost everything I had, I could get it all back by selling my cars. That's when the market was bad. This is probably 15 years ago. But see, our problem is the trust issue. You have a problem trusting everybody with anything dealing with money except the church. You don't query for questions where the money is in the church.
Right.
You know, you got a black man who people will not get behind, but he will still stand up and fight for you. And you want to ask, even to this day, where is the money at from the Million Man March? Even though it's public knowledge and public access to find it.
Uh-huh.
But you would prefer to complain and whine and this, that, and the other. You know every dime that Puffy got. You know every dime that LeBron got. You speaking on everybody else's money, but can't ever even say your own credit score because you want to stay. It's a lot easier. When he spoke about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, there's a lot of different books and mindset books about that. All this boils down to is mindset. You got people that talk about other people's money. You got people that know how to make money, and you got people that wonder what about money. See, it's the haves and the have-nots deals with a lot of different things. And if you can't change your condition unless you change your condition of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
80% of your income is determined by the top 10 people in your circle.
Mm-hmm.
If you broke, look at your circle.
You know what? Hold that thought. Because I said that a few videos ago, shows ago. I said the exact same thing. If you're in my circle around me, and if I ask you for $20 and you say, well, bro, I ain't got it.
Why are we in the same circle?
Something ain't right.
Why are we in the same? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. See, here's what we don't like to talk about. See, a lot of times when you're speaking on something, you got to sprinkle a little scripture on it. Jesus was the only rabbi in the room. He didn't hang around no other rabbis. So people misunderstand when I tell them I don't hang around other worshipful masters if I'm the worshipful master. Grandmasters should never hang around other grandmasters because all y'all doing is trying to one up the other on what you're doing in your own state.
Yeah, that's true.
A grandmaster should be hanging around presidents of Congress because that's what you're trying to attain to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why would you hang around? You know, tens hang with tens because see, if you had to really rate yourself, everybody that's on the call, if you had to rate yourself honestly, could you really do it? Could you say, well, yeah, I'm this? If you were 10, look at the people that are around you. What kind of people do you attract? And if you say you were 10, then look at your large members.
Mm-hmm.
If your large members is 4s and 5s, how you a 10? Because you brought them in there.
That's right. That's right.
You brought them in there. You know, so as I always say, ain't shit people hang with ain't shit people.
Brother Terrell, what you were gonna say?
I was gonna say about the finance portion and what Brother Jackson was speaking on. Is right. Your group, your circle around you can determine a lot of things about yourself and about your plan. I can throw a tidbit out there. One of my jewelers, who I go to when I want to go splurge on my wife every once in a while, he told me to open up a line of credit for my kids. I have 2 boys and I have a little girl. One is 1, one is 8, one is 7. And he said, if you do that now at their age, by the time they turn 18, open up a credit card in their name, only buy stuff like $50, $100, pay it off more time. They will have in the high 700s to 800 credit score. And you live there for the rest of their life. You teach them at an early age how to do it.
Yeah, that's one up.
Yeah, and he told me that because he always said and the reason he told me that because one, he said you have your finances in order. You don't come in here every paycheck or nothing like that. Anything you buy, you either buy straight cash on the spot or you make a large down payment and you pay it off literally within a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's the type of mindset. And he was a black brother. My jeweler was a black brother. He told me that. He just said, he's like, and I invested my money into jewelry because I invested my money into jewelry that I was going to appreciate, never depreciate.
Okay,
like,
so
it's nothing.
So I'm going to say this because I think one of the brothers was asking in regards to the conversation. He was just trying to figure out how did the conversation go from where it was to where it's at now. And this is what we're talking about, brother, is the mere fact of Black Masonry and how we deal with not only finances, how we deal with people that are around us. Are we taking the knowledge that we have and really using it to enlighten the next man? Are we even doing what we're supposed to do as Masons? When you look around and see what's happening in your community, do you carry yourself like somebody? Who's around you to help lift you up, or are you lifting anybody up? So this conversation tonight not only deals with something that we never talk about amongst ourselves as finances. Another thing, we never talk about how separate and unequal we are in this thing we call Freemasonry. So this is what this conversation is about tonight. And we can flow between talking about the finances, and we can flow between how a Mason carries himself. And yes, there was a time, as Brother Jackson said, that when a person entered a room, and because of his decorum about himself, you knew whether or not that he was somebody. And more than likely, in the earlier days of this thing we call Freemasonry, you knew that he was a Mason, because being a Mason meant something at that time. And that's the truth. There was a time a brother walked into a room and he walked in, you knew who he was, because it meant something to be a Mason. I'm not talking 100 years ago. I'm talking 70s, early 80s. I'm talking about 60s. I'm talking about that time when the struggle is real now, but it was just the flavor was different. You kind of feel what I'm saying? Go ahead, talk on.
And I can agree with you, and I can say this also too. We say separate equal when it comes to Masonry. Mm-hmm. I'm a black. I'm in a Grand Lodge state. I'm undetected. I can tell you firsthand. I have traveled to other lodges, different states. I just went back home to Mississippi. Just because I'm a black man in a Grand Lodge state, let's just say there are still some states, i.e. Mississippi. They don't care if I am a Grand Lodge. Yeah, that helps me. But they can still turn me around and say, hey, we're conducting business or so-and-so. They can give you an excuse. So don't get it misconstrued just because you're in the Grand Lodge estate that you can go just any and everywhere, especially if you're a black man. I'm just going to call it what it is. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're going to recognize you. They might give you a handshake, but trust me, that's as far as you're going to probably get.
Okay.
And that's just the facts.
Acacia 816 Square said I'm out. And I some people probably won't be able to follow the show tonight because of where it's going. But these are just things that we never really talk about. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Do any of you ever have this type of conversation with other brothers in the craft?
My accountant, my treasurer, who's also an account maker.
Okay. Anybody else online?
One thing, think about this. You got brothers who can't. Brothers. It honestly exposes a lot of brothers who, instead of just receiving what's there because it can help them somewhere else later in life, mm-hmm. or even in the order, they just would rather just, what is going? How is it going? Because it's always something. See, you have to learn how to. You have to learn. How did any of you ever learn how to be a steward? When they put you in a position, how did you learn how to be a steward? If you don't, I learned how to be a steward watching ants and bees. That's how I learned. You know, I learned how to do a lot of things in the order from watching other people. I never knew my father was a Mason, but I always knew how he walked and how he carried himself. And I saw the circle of people that he was around. And so I always wanted to make sure that I was at least half the man he was to be able to do what I wanted to do.
Okay.
You know, brothers, this is basic life 101. People think that masonry is just some type of completely different society of life, and it isn't. It's a place where good men become better men. How do you become better men? Well, number one, you don't have a broke man as a treasurer in your lodge.
Yes,
two,
indeed. You don't have a broke man as a treasurer.
You don't have an idiot as a secretary. Why won't you get your treasurer bonded?
Somebody got a lot of background noise.
Hold on. Why don't you have your treasurer bonded? Why don't you have your secretary able to hold? Why is your secretary struggling to read the minutes?
Right.
Why does he have chicken scratch when you try to read the minutes? That's why we want to email everything, because you don't have the skills to hold the position.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to write the minutes out. You don't want to call people. You don't want to send mail out. You want to get cyber. We want to innovate. A lot of this stuff doesn't change.
It doesn't, but adding to that though, Brother Jackson, you have to use all of those tools. All those tools.
I mean, we do, and I don't have a problem with it. The thing is, you're going to always stay a step behind because you're not looking in front of you.
Okay.
That's just the nature of the beast, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
You're separate. You're behind everyone else in the order because you're looking for something for free.
Okay. I can see where you're going with that, because I was looking at technology as a helping hand versus something to hinder us.
Yeah. But see, you're looking for something. See, people get on this page to either hope they hear something that can help them, lead them in another perspective, or they're looking for something that they can run and tell something. Look what they're saying. Look what they're talking about. When you're talking about building, you have to make sure that what you're on is secure. So everything you put on top of it is going to be sturdy. Mm-hmm. You can't put aluminum on a steel building.
Yes, brother.
You know, but I gotta go. I'm at my client's house.
All right, go ahead and handle it.
All right.
So we got an open line. If anybody else want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. That number is going to be 619-985-1184. So if anybody else want to call in, we do have an open line. So if anybody's on the line, they want to talk, you're certainly welcome to do so. Hello.
No, I'm still here. I'm just, like I said, for the people out there, first and foremost, I just want everybody just watch your circle, keep it tight knit, educated people, and just be mindful of your financial situation. Just, don't blow your money, invest. Think about the long term for everything you do. Don't always think about the short term. Always think about the long term.
Long term. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Brother Terrell, and as always, we're gonna talk, and I'll be home pretty soon. All right.
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
All right, I appreciate it. So, is there anybody else online right now?
Yes, sir.
All right. You said that you was not a Mason, right? Hello? I guess he's gone. So we got lines open right now if you want to call into the show. And it just goes to show you that Masonry is diverse, but the separate but equal comes into play is when we don't do what we should with our finances. We don't do what we should with when brothers come in, how we should train them, how we should educate them on Masonry, teach them in regards to the allegory. symbols that we use, and why do we use them, and where did they come from, and give them a better understanding of what this thing called Masonry is all about. This is some of the things that we need to start really embedding in our new members, and whether it be a sister or a brother. Because what happens is a lot of people get lost in this thing they call Freemasonry because they think it's something to play with. They think it's something fun and games, and it's not fun and games. This is all about bringing a brother or a sister to another level in life, through enlightenments of allegories and signs and symbols to teach them something that they hadn't been taught. Because once you come into Masonry, it is a different realm. It is something different about being a Mason or Eastern Star. The ideal is that circle that you hang around. Are they still bringing you back, taking you back? Are they or are they pushing you forward to become better? And this is some of the things we really have to take a good look at. And like I said earlier in the show, when you're dealing with white Masons as far as how they deal in business is totally different than how we deal in business. When you're dealing with white Masons as far as how they not only network, they do. We don't network like that. And this is some of the things that we have to start considering amongst ourselves across the board. We have to get out of the mentality of thinking, well, I'm more legitimate than you are. And then once we're able to change that thought of thinking, then we can really progress. Then we can really come up. The totality of the whole being of African American males, as somebody said, that was a name given to us. But the whole essence of Black Masonry can then rise. Not just your jurisdiction or this, but the whole thing can be so much better if we can change the mentality of how we view each other, how we think of each other. Oh, your papers ain't right. It ain't, you know what? Once we change that thought, that mindset, it won't even be about paper. It'll be about that green paper. Because now I can come and support you in some of the things you do. You can come and support me in some of the things I do. But we can't do that because we don't trust each other. Somebody has lied to us. Somebody has been bamboozled. Somebody has been corrupt. It's a whole lot at play. We got to change the mindset. We have to start looking at those things, those allegories, those principles, those working tools that we have and start really applying them as we grow, as we move in this thing called Freemasonry. Until we do that, we are going to be separate and unequal. It's going to be unmatched, And this is where we're at. And this is the sad thing that I personally can see. They learn that mindset as a child and have not used the knowledge in Masonry to correct the problem. Well, you know what? I would have to agree with you on that one. I do. I really agree with you on that one. And I know Brother Fitzgerald, Alex Fitzgerald. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you're Prince Hall or mainstream. I don't know your jurisdiction right offhand. But I would guarantee this. In coming across the person or person you may know to be that you may or may not know to be a Mason, you're going to see if they're trustworthy. That's what I'm asking that question. You're going to see whether they're going to be trustworthy or not. And in the process, you're going to base that upon what you know about that individual and not what somebody has told you. And see, this is what happens to us a lot of times. We go about what somebody has told you about the next person when you don't even know them. Well, I don't really trust them, bro. Well, what did he do to you? Once you tell me that, then I'm going to give them the opportunity. Once he screwed me, then I know it. It's not that I didn't take what you said and heed to the warning. I'm not saying that. I'm saying because he did it to you, he may not do it to me. That may be an issue you and him are having, or you and her, or whatever that situation may be. Because I've learned some things in life. Stay out of other people's business. That's why I often say stay out the bushes. I just stay out the business. If it doesn't concern me, it's not my business. Now, if you bring me into it and I have 10 cents to say, then I'm going to say it. But we must realize we got to change our mindset. Show a little respect to the next brother, even if he's not in your jurisdiction. You never know who you're going to need. Because I've often said on this show, and we can play it back on plenty of other shows, that I would never be a Prince Hall Mason. I've said that. And it's not in disrespect to the individuals. It's not about the individual. It's about the system. And what I've been and how brothers have come at me. So no, yes, it has left a bad taste, in my mouth when I've dealt with us as far as Freemasonry is concerned. So I've said those things. And some people say, well, Brother Hawkins, you shouldn't have really said it. But I said it because I meant it. And it was no disrespect to individuals that I know. It's the system. And we are bought into a system that has not done us any good. This is why we're still separate and, yes, unequal when it comes to Freemasonry. We don't network like we should. Do you know most white Masons, even if they have something against that person, it's all about the network. It's all about the come up. It ain't about, well, man, I'm still mad at you. I'm still, no, it's all about the come up. And even for me, I have to even work with that. I do, and it's truthful, I'm just being honest with you. Some people don't want to be that honest. Brother Hawkins, the problem is the subconscious mind of some Black Masons. It is developed between the first and 6 years of life. Oh, my goodness. Whoo-wee. I'll be back going to work, brothers. All right, Sound 102, be safe going to work, bruh. Malcolm Prophet. To really understand the Holy Bible, you need the Kabbalah and the Sabbath. I truly dive deep into my ancestor heritage and also read the Book of Mormons and okay, bruh. Brother Prophet, you went way off on left field with me on that one, brother. It's all good, though. I appreciate you. That was a name accepted by us. Oh, my goodness. I sometimes feel like that will take a few decades to change the mindset of our people due to 400 years that set us back. Woo! Well, a piece at a time. A piece at a time. That's what it's going to take, a piece at a time. It may take a long time, but we got to get there. We can no longer sit idly by and just say what somebody else is doing to us when we are not doing for ourselves. We can't. I can't do it. I can't sit idly by and say what somebody's doing to me when I'm not doing for myself. If I don't show my self-respect, if I don't show my self-love, then I can't complain about somebody else loving me and showing me respect. No, I can't do it. And this is what we do to each other. We don't show each other love or respect. And then we get mad when somebody don't want to speak to us. Let's take off the frown and put on a smile, and show each other some respect, some love, regardless of our jurisdiction. And when we can do that, we're going to be better for it. But we got to stop pulling each other back down. We got to put down a ladder, pull up the next person, flip that ladder and bring somebody else up. And then we'll all be out the bucket. Instead of selling the ghetto and trying to get out the ghetto, buy the damn ghetto. Buy it. Buy it, own it, and then clean it up. Then you don't have to worry about gentrification or somebody coming in, buying up the property around you and you saying, when the neighborhood is changing. Yeah, because people are buying it up. Now, if you can change your mindset, clean up your own neighborhood, buy some property in your own neighborhood, then you won't have to worry about somebody coming in, gentrifying where you're at. And this is the mindset. Again, separate and not equal. It is. It's truth. In most Black communities, you're not going to find a major change grocery store there. You're not. You find a mom and pop store in the corners. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm talking about live food, fresh fruits and vegetables. And this is what we have to get back to, brothers and sisters. This is what we have to start doing for our own. And this is what Masonry says to me. Respect myself. And it'll be all good. I'm not concerned about what somebody's going to make me happy. If I was thought that somebody's going to make me happy, I'd be a sad person. Just that truth. So if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. We got a few more minutes left. So tonight we're just talking about being separate and not equal, because we're not. To really oh nope, not gonna read that one again. That's boy, okay, all right. Every book is a gift from my elders. I appreciate it and respect my elders and myself and the next generation. Well put, Brother Malcolm. Prophet, well put. You know, that is definitely well put. If you drive a car for the first time, you are understanding your conscious mind. After 10 years, you can't talk on the phone while driving, which is used to the subconscious mind. Boy, I liked that one. That was interesting. Masons should be able to transcend the 10% when you use the proper applied. When you use properly, when if used properly and applied. I can agree with that. But there's something else that is happening. You know, most of us don't want to change our mindset, because this is something that I really believe that Masonry does, and it has helped me along the way. It changes your mindset. And especially if you travel as a Mason outside of the boundaries for which you find yourself in. It will change your mindset. Like Brother Terrell said, he's a part of the Grand Lodge Estate out of Texas. But when he gets down to Mississippi, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Separate and not equal. It doesn't even matter. Just that plain and simple. Even though he may have a right to sit in that lodge and be recognized as a brother, but he would not be accepted equally as a brother. Separate but not equal. It's not even complicated. It's something that we really have to take a serious look at to better ourselves as Masons. This is why I like being part of this great organization, this fraternal brotherhood. I do. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't. Okay. The conscious mind is only a gatekeeper. It moves or reacts slowly than the subconscious mind. All right. Interesting. Greetings, everybody who's on the show tonight. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I definitely want to say that. So if you would hit the like button, I certainly would appreciate it. And as always, I hope that we've all gotten some from the conversations that was had tonight. And I know I did. Anytime that I have an individual on the phone, I'm looking to get something out of the conversation. I am, because I don't know everything. I want to be able to have those who are a member of Research Lodge number 144 to give information, something that's going to really make you think. And this is a topic that, that was talked about. One of the other brothers emailed it to me and say, hey, this is, if you handle it right, it can be a great show, separate and not equal, And so if you notice, the brothers, they are in chain, they are in chain on this ship, and I had to put that picture there because I want you to think. I want us to be able to realize, hell, we all in the same boat. You can say whatever you want to say, and I'm just giving it to you, baby. And it's true. We are, So whatever you do tonight, please be careful. If you're going out, coming in, wherever you're at, be careful. I hope that you drive home safe. And if you get pulled over, please control yourself. Amen. I'm tired of seeing us being shot, women's being killed. I don't have any other words. I don't. So please, wherever you at, you driving home, you get pulled over. If he's pissed off at you for whatever, let him be mad, man. Get home to your family. Get home to your mama. Get home to your family tonight. Wherever you're at and you're driving, you get pulled over. Hey, look, control yourself. All right. As a Mason, subdue that passion right now. You pissed off. You trying to go somewhere. Subdue that passion for that time. Get home safe. Get your ticket. Take it to court. Man, I don't want to see us losing another life over. They don't give them a reason to shoot you. Don't. And I had to go there because I just see it happen so often, you know. It's boiling in me to say something. So I just had to get that out. And so I want to say appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, Brother Muhammad. We are in the the so-called black community that should be buying up the ghetto. Yeah. And I'm part of that. I mean, including myself. And I say including me before I go. And I've been saying I'm going to go for the past 5 minutes. But to kick back on what you just said, brother, is the mere fact that as an individual, speaking of myself, who has access to a little money, right? I should take that and invest that in property, okay? Not just here in California, but somewhere else. So I will be able to, like Brother Jackson said, own the land, buy the land, you know? That's what we have to start thinking about doing. And maybe some of us will think about doing some investment groups where we have to trust each other. So we need to start thinking on a higher level instead of thinking about the crumbs. I want the whole damn plate. I don't want no crumbs. I want the whole plate. I want everything on it. And I don't want no cornbread, no chitlins, no black eyed peas. I want everything on the plate. I want to be able to eat healthy. I want healthy food on the plate. And I'm not saying that any of that I just named is not really healthy. Hey, I'm just saying, if you understand the slave mentality and what they gave our ancestors and why we're still eating like that versus the way we can eat now, you know, it's just a mindset. So look, man, I can go on all night. Wow, I ain't see all this. Blacks is misunderstood. Buying, selling ain't black. Building is. That's true. Keep selling, brother. We are on the move, people. Just stay in the lodge and learn as fast as you can. Yeah, learn it all. I'm telling you, man. Just learn it all. Be safe going home tonight. And whatever you do and however you do it, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. I'm out. Peace.